Welcome back, baseball fans, to another elimination video. Today we're eliminating the San Francisco Giants, a really great baseball team that just could not find a spot in the playoff field in a very competitive National League. They really struggled against the top teams in the National League. They played the Reds early, and they played them well, but lost a series to them. They played two different best-of-7 series against the Dodgers, lost both of them. And they lost two straight to the Pirates. Against the other teams, you know, the Houstons and the San Diegos and so forth, they did very well. This is a team that draws a lot of walks, but walks don't produce the runs. You got to hit your way in. And Pittsburgh was that team that is sort of built that way. They get a lot of hits. Pittsburgh doesn't get a lot of walks. And that was going to be the reason why they lost two straight to the Pirates. Last year they made the playoffs, lost in the division round to Atlanta. They had 238 a year ago. This year it's 245. On base percentage is almost 100 points better. That shows you how many walks they draw. So they get on base, but you need that timely hit to bring them all home, or the timely homer to bring them all home. Pitching got slightly worse. I guess you need to start with Juan Marichal. He was, of course, the brilliant ace. The 69 card won a couple Cy Youngs for me. But frankly, he was just got an invite back for his final year. He was a seldom used number 4 starter. He only had 20 innings because we rotated the top 3 guys on 3 days rest most of the time. So Marichal was really just a shell of himself, unfortunately, in his final stint with the Giants. Bonifusco was an all-star a year ago, had a nice year again. Interesting case of Ron Bryant. He was the all-star this year. He was 7-0, but didn't win another game. He lost to the Dodgers, and he would get a no decision in the game, their playoff game against the Pirates. Lavelle and Williams sort of split closing duties, but struggled with the ERA. The Giants got to improve the pitching moving forward. The offense, good years out of Goodson, Joshua, and then there's a drop by 70 points to the next hitter, Dick Dietz, who still has the 431 on base. Fuentes produced runs. He was the only really clutch hitter on this team with 27 RBIs. For a guy not known for power. McCovey is known for that, had 8 home runs, but just 16 RBIs. Didn't produce a lot of ribby. And then Larry Herndon and Gary Matthews was real disappointing. He didn't produce runs or steal many bases. Bonds had some homers, some RBIs, and some stolen bases, but otherwise he didn't get on enough and didn't get enough hits. He hit 226 with a lowly 302 on base for Bobby Bonds. Chris Spire would like to forget this year even happened. He hit 175. That'll just kill you. But at least he was a slick fielding shortstop. And normally, contributors off the bench, Sparing and Robertson, didn't help the cause either. It was just wasn't there. I mean, it was clearly evident against the best teams in the National League. The Giants just didn't match up well enough. And so with that, let's take a look at the Giants' stack of cards, beginning with the 8 cards of 73 to figure out who we have to figure out who they're going to keep, waive, and retire. And my goodness, folks, we have some names here. We got a bunch of good names here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of good Giant names here. So they got some stuff to sort out. They're going to lose some, or they're going to have a change of the guard, as we say. They're going to have 6 hitters and 6 pitchers here. So they're going to have to work more on their offense. Yeah, so this is what they're bringing back. Mark Hill does play for the Giants at a certain point of his career, but not in 74. Robertson was a Pirate. And we have a couple infielders. Rob Sparing, a utility player. Here's the nice Spire card. By nice, I mean power, a lot of walks, 2E14 shortstop. You love that. 271 hitter, and he had 175. So you have to expect he'll rebound from this. Herndon, good range and arm in center, competing in playing time with Von Joshua. You could start them both, move one guy into the corner. As Joshua doesn't need to be in a platoon, he can play every day. And frankly, Herndon, well, he could also potentially do that. Something to consider if they run out of outfielders. Of course, we know the Giants, all they do is produce outfielders. Pitching staff. So they have Barr and Montefusco at the top, returning. Now Caldwell could go into the Ron Bryant spot. That's exactly where he should go. And you have your choice of probably Haliki. You can go Ed Haliki into the Marichal spot, and boom, you got your rotation with Charlie Williams and Gary Lavelle. So this is instant pitching staff right here. All you need is 2 relievers, a lefty and a righty reliever, and you're good to go. Because I don't think Ron Bryant has anything left, nor does Marichal. Well, we can take a look at that right now. We'll go to Baseball Reference and look at those 8 players from 1973. We'll find out who the Giants should keep, waive, and retire. All right, folks, we begin with, a legend, Bobby Bonds. First player on the list of 83 players of the Giants. Big story here. What do you do? Do you make the trade? You hold on to him. This is a big move for the Giants. So 74, he's still there. The WAR, he's a 7.8 WAR player in 73. He'll never do that again. But the years in San Francisco, he's got a 798 OPS. When he goes to the Yankees, it's 888. With the Angels, it's 862. So there are 3 scenarios with Bonds coming up. All 3 are viable. Giants, Yankees, Angels. Too early to project this sort of thing right now. It's almost like too much information and it needs to be parsed properly. So I'm just going to denote that he's a keeper. And I know that someone's keeping him and it'll either be the Giants, Yankees, or Angels. So let's just move on. Too much work to do for this San Francisco team in the offseason. Next up is Dick Dietz, and I think he might finally be done. Dick Dietz. What a neat series of strat cards this guy had. The 70 All-Star card, you would never have known about that card because of Johnny Bench. But that 70 card, 300, 426 on base, 515 941 OPS? Are you kidding me? And then in 71, it's still 806. He had a bad 72, and in 73, he did this with Atlanta. 295, 474, 432, 905. And he goes into retirement. But what a fun group of years. I got the 68 Giants, and he's got a 739 OPS. Got to check that card out. But see, on base is just 347. But that'll be it for Dick Dietz. Fun times and a sad day for the Giants to say goodbye of the nice piece that they had. All right, Tito Fuentes. So the Giants, they had Daryl Thomas take over at second base after Fuentes left, but they don't have Daryl Thomas right now. The Brewers have him with his 75 card. He left in 75, went to the Padres. The good news is you still can get him in 74, even though his numbers are down. What's interesting is that, do the Padres even need him at second base? I don't really think they need him. The Tigers use him because they need somebody before Lou Whitaker arrives in 78. And so in 77, they go out and, Fuentes, 673 plate appearances in that one season in Detroit, hitting 309, but he was a disaster defensively. So he's got some baseball left in him, and it's just a question of, again, just like Bonds, you keep him, let him go to one of these other teams. We know he's got plenty of value. More guys you keep, better trade options you have, teams come calling. Next guy is Ed Goodson, who has had 2 good years, and he might be done with the good ones. And Ed Goodson, Bill Todman production, 70 to 77. Had 2 nice years as a pinch hitter corner guy. At 280 and 72. This card, it's 302 with a 74 OPS. 74, he's still okay. 272, and then he fades after that. So you could bring back the 74 card, but you're bringing back a 270 hitter with not much power, decent on base, probably bad defense, negative WAR. But again, he's a Giant. So for the moment, let's just say he's a keeper. Obviously down on the list of priorities, but he's a keeper. Mostly because he's a Giant. Next up, Gary Matthews. And oh my goodness. They already lost Gary Maddox, which was sad. Now they're going to lose Gary Matthews. I wonder if they spell it with 2 R's or 1 R. There you go. Do they lose him now? How long do they hold on to him for? 76. So you got 3 years in San Francisco before he goes to Atlanta. Very even Steven, right around 280. 20 home runs. Slugging's about the same. Very steady. That could be your outfield. If you were to deal Bonds, this could be your outfield. Particularly if Matthews is still good defensively. You could have Matthews in left, Joshua in center, Herndon in right field with a -2 arm. That could be the Giant outfield. It doesn't get much better with Atlanta there. Following years, though, he's nice in Atlanta. He gets used to the launching pad. 79's an incredible year. Then he has nice years with the Phillies and the Cubs, playoff performances. But for now, Gary Matthews is sticking with the Giants. And our last guy, Willie McCovey. Oh boy, folks. Oh boy. Stretch at first. My goodness. Hall of Famer Willie McCovey. So, he would go to the Padres next year for 2 years. And then he spends some time in Oakland, and then he returns to San Francisco in 77. So here's an interesting scenario. The Giants, because of the 4-year carryover league, can go 4 years. Bingo! And pick him up in 1977. And I think I'm going to do that. What's in the best interest of McCovey? He's got an 867 OPS in that year, right? Does he exceed that with the Padres? Well, actually, yeah. He's got some nice... Well, that's a Giant year. He's got a 922 with the Padres. I don't really see the need for him to go to the Padres. I really don't. They got Mike Ivy. The Padres do. Mike Ivy will play for the Giants. I don't know. Again, this is like the Bobby Bonds discussion. Don't want to talk about this now. There's be plenty of an off season to decide it. But I got to think that that 77 season is really good. I think he gets comeback player of the year. So we're going to keep McCovey, or we're going to make him a keeper for now. So they already have 5. And now you got the curious case of Ron Bryant. It takes a deeper dive here. I did it during the broadcast. Project him as like a 13-game winner over 2 seasons is what you have to consider here. It's very weird. 73 and 4. So look at these numbers. 24 and 12 followed by 3 and 15. So you add them together, and that's probably Ron Bryant. His lifetime, he's 11 and 11, 11 and a half, 11.3. And in those 2 years, divided in half, he's like 13 and a half, 13 and a half, 27 and 27. So he's right on par for his career if you combine it all. This 74 card is not very good at all, and they should put it on waivers because the card is made instead of retirement. Because he throws left-handed, what he could potentially do, if the split's opportunistic, say he's simply better against lefties and righties, he can go to the bullpen. A left-handed arm, all the left-handed arms will be selected unless you're horrendous. So, for now, they're keeping him. Or actually, no, they're going to put him on waivers. Yeah. No one, no one's going to trade for Ron Bryant. But Ron Bryant will probably find a job somewhere in the league. And that doesn't eliminate the Giants from being in that job, but they got better things to do than bring him back. And lastly, we finish with the best from last. The magical career of Juan Marichal. We need to really take a nice snapshot of this. Boy, folks. Probably the most important pitcher of 69, for me at least, in making this carryover league. I'm going to start there, and then we'll go back before and after. So this 69 card has a 7.8 WAR, which is the best WAR since the mid-60s when he was unbelievable. He's doesn't even make the Cy Young list for whatever reason. He's got a 2.10 ERA with a 69 card. 8 shutouts led the league. And a .99 WHIP led the league. He led the league in four different pitching categories, and yet is not on the Cy Young list for whatever reason in 69. Not sure exactly why that is. Prior to that, we got to talk about 65 and 66. I don't understand the Cy Young voting here. He's 8th in Cy Young in 71, and he's okay. He's 18-11 with a 2.94 ERA. His WAR is 2.9. He makes the top 10 Cy Young list. Was there not a Cy Young list where they did not keep track of the top 10? I don't know. He's on the MVP lists. I mean, he makes the top 10 3 different times on the MVP of the league, yet he's not on the Cy Young list. He's on the MVP list 4 other times. Presently, this is the card we had. Do they make this Boston card of 74? I don't think they did. That would get him waivers at least. Let's look for Boston and see if they make a Marichal card for 74. They do not. Kind of glad they didn't. I don't like to see Hall of Famers with bad cards. You know, I like to get rid of their card. I mean, I didn't use Ernie Banks last year. I didn't use Willie Mays last year, which would have been this present season. I didn't use that. Well, we can finally, after a nice, incredibly long run, say goodbye to Juan Marichal. He can finally retire. Didn't get him a World Series ring. Got him into the LCS a few times. One of my favorite pitchers during this timeline. So he can go in retirement. So the story of the Giants, they're in good shape. 5 keepers, 1 waiver, 2 retirees. I don't think any of these keepers are going to go on waivers. Well, technically, it might be Ed Goodson. If they can't work out a deal with anybody, they're just going to bring back Bonds, Fuentes, Matthews, and McCovey. If they can't make a deal, put Ed Goodson on waivers. And that wouldn't be bad. Kind of a run-it-back approach. The pitching staff's deep, so they don't have to worry about the pitching. They'd have to find a catcher to replace Dietz. If you want to have Fuentes at second, his defense is going to start to falter. I guess you need a third baseman for Goodson. So there's work to do with the offense. The Giants are in good shape. They'll still be in good shape for the next several years, until at least the late 70s when the wheels start to fall off the cart there for the Giants. That's it for eliminating the San Francisco Giants. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.